And if I could get the panel to come up. You can give them a hand. We got a lot planned today. Lots of questions came in, like we said, and we tried to honor as many of those as we could. Some of them had similar themes, so if you don't see your exact question, it probably was grouped in with something else, or we just didn't like it at all and we threw it out. One of those two. But here is our panel today. Dr. and Mrs. Tyner today. And then this is Marissa Achike and Marissa Mora. Okay, she is my daughter and her husband, and the little ones running around are their best thing that they've given to me, my grandchildren. Yes. So I am so happy to have them here, and so let's get right in. Wait, I forgot to say something about in the back today. Sophie's back there. Can you wave, Sophie? Way Forward Ministries is a hiking group out of Colorado, and if you need a summer internship job / somewhere to go and minister, they are looking for people, and I looked up their ministry. It's tremendous, so make sure if you have an interest in that, you stop by the table today. Anyway, okay, back to the relationship panel. So just to start off, kind of give us an introduction, maybe 1-2 minutes, how you guys met, why you're excited to be here, that kind of thing. All right?
All right. Patty said it's all on me. I don't know if that means she's not going to talk today. Patty and I met when we were 17 years of age. We worked in Bradley's department store. That would be kind of equivalent to a Kohl's department store. And she worked in the camera department, I worked in toys, and I ended up becoming a front-end manager. She had a register in her department, so as the front-end manager, my job was to cash out all the registers, and so I would see her at the end of the night. One night I went over there, and she asked me if I would go to her senior prom. I don't know why. I have no idea why. But that's how we ended up meeting. Worked together at a store. We lived one town next to each other. I was in Dedham, Massachusetts, and she lived in Roslindale, which is part of Boston.
All right. Oh yeah, and I am so happy that the Tyners decided to do this, because they are like in the thralls of Patriot Super Bowlville, right? Like this is big time. How many people are cheering for the Patriots this weekend? No? How about the Seahawks? How many people cheering? We are on the West Coast, so I get it. We are on the West Coast.
We get 6, so.
Okay. You had enough championship rings. All right, how about you guys?
Want me to go? Okay. We met in college. We both went to Trinity International University in Deerfield, Illinois. We met in a graphic design class, and he played football, I played volleyball. We dated, I'm older. We dated for 2 years and got married in 2019. So we're going to be celebrating 7 years in like 2 weeks. So, yeah, thank you.
Is that how it went down, Chicken? Is that how it went down?
I skipped a lot of details.
Okay. All right, let's get to the questions. Maybe they'll come out in the questions. First question, first grouping of questions, we're just kind of parent and coach relationships. So let's kind of go through that. The first question is it important for your partner to have a good relationship with your family and loved ones? Or how important maybe is it?
All right, I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Because I'm not afraid to. So first of all, the answers to a lot of these questions, because you shared them with us, Alan, rely on like a certain assumption, and that is that like people want to work out problems, blah 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 blah. Right? We're talking about relationships, and Sam's line in the video earlier on was really great because relationships are hard. They're absolutely hard. So the answer to this is, of course, you absolutely want a relationship with your partner's family and loved ones, and there's 1,000 reasons for that, right? It's number one, it's sort of who they are. You learn about them through learning about their family. But I think an important thing is you don't want there to be a competition for love for the person, right? Her parents love her, I love her, they want to love her more, and I want to love her, those kinds of things. I think it's critically important when you know the family and you become familiar with them, then you form good relationships with them, and then those kinds of issues become non-issues.
Well said, well said. Anybody want to add?
So I would say, important, the word I would use, I would say maybe it's more of a privilege, because at the end of the day, in my opinion, is your person. They matter. They should be put at the forefront of everyone else, in my opinion. Now, your family was there from the start to where you are now. They would always love you. You should always love them, if that's the relationship. But you have that person in your life for a reason, and your family can't get in the way of that. Now, it's important. I would say, should you have a good relationship with your significant other and your family? Yes. It's much easier. It's the best word I'm trying to say. It's easier said than done. There's always, at the end of the day, though, your person should be number one in your life. Pick them first. Have your family join in with your love. Have them, if they accept it, they accept it. They don't, they don't. In my life, there was time where it was a hard time with my family and her, but at the end of the day, she's my person. If they want to if they want to love me, they want to stick with me, they got to accept her.
Well said. All right, do you have any encouragement for people currently going through heartache or family troubles?
Your family, unfortunately, is your family. You don't pick them. They are your blood. You can't pick family if your biological family isn't working. You have to remember, it's a two-way street. You need to communicate with your family and them with you, but you also need to keep your boundaries, and you need to keep you safe. It's not always going to be easy. You have to be willing to work at it 50-50.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of heartaches from my own family. And
with Alan as your dad, we can
Yes.
understand this.
But basically, I think that if you just continue to lead with love and God at the center, regardless of how people can hurt you, that will always come to light at the end. If you would have told me around the time we were getting married that we would have the relationship with both of our sides of the family that we do now, I would have thought you were crazy. Time does heal, but if you react in the moment negatively, it's something that people can hold on to. So just always lead with light and remember that those are the people that raised the person that you love, in my case. And yeah, that's pretty much my advice.
All right, very good. Moving into the coaching thing a little bit, and you guys coached and were athletes and things like that. How do you handle a situation with a coach when I feel as though I am being walked over and start to question my worth?
So I think the answer to almost every problem today that we're going to encounter is always about communication. And you can read everywhere about how communication is a major issue in this country. It's becoming a larger and a larger challenge. If you think or feel that your coach is walking over you, that's in your view and in your eyes. So you probably should talk to your coach about what you're feeling and why you're feeling what you're feeling to work the details out with your coach. And if then indeed you are being walked over, then there are next steps to take. But ultimately, when it comes to coaching and talking about a sport, there isn't an athlete who doesn't think that they're worth their weight in gold. and that they should be perhaps the starting player in a particular area, and so the coach just doesn't recognize how good I am, things like that. There's more than just your playing ability that coaches look at. They look at who you are as a teammate. They look at who you are as a person. They look at how hard you practice. They look at whether or not you're on time. So there are a lot of different factors there. And so if you feel that there's an issue, hopefully your coach would have discussed this with you about if you feel there's an issue. Clearly they haven't. And so you should take that up with the coach. You should start a conversation with the coach, an honest conversation. And don't go into it like with guns loaded. You have to, you want to say, do you want to resolve the problem or not? It's always a question and an answer. So one thing I learned a long, long time ago about interpersonal relationships is we're always trying to solve problems and build relationships at the same time. You're not trying to ruin your relationship, you're trying to build a relationship. This is your coach, it's worth building a relationship with the coach. So my recommendation is sit down, talk about think it through. Don't just go in and have a conversation and wing it. Because you're going to miss all of the things you want to talk about, and you're going to miss how important you want to say things. Sketch the words out. Pat has sketched out a lot of words today. I don't know, she might want to answer some of these questions. If that's the kind of person you are, do it. Write it down. I want to make sure I get to these bullet points. I'm a big bullet point person. I believe in that. I want to make sure I cover these 6 things, so I'm going to write those bullets down. And then me personally, I want to speak from the heart. I want you to know that it's coming directly from me, so I don't want to have to read it to you. But other people are different. Other people want to read it. I've had several people come to me and say, I'm having a problem with you, and I want to read this. If you don't mind, I just want to read it because I wrote it all down, and I put a lot of thought into it. And I say, no, get back to it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't say that. Of course. So, conversation with the coach. That's the key.
If you can, you've got to take a minute, step back, think about what you want to say, leave the emotion aside, and then speak your mind.
Really easily said, right?
Oh, absolutely, positively not. In my case, I probably blew up my pants,
But easily said. Keep the emotions out of it. That's easy to say that, but it's not easy to do.
So, we're both coaches, and we were athletes kind of a long time ago. I don't want to think about how long ago it was. You might not like my answer to this one, but I've had these conversations recently, actually. And if your opinion of yourself relies on one opinion of somebody else, you really don't have a lot of confidence, and that's something that needs to be addressed outside the court or field, whatever. Again, your sport isn't who you are, it's what you do. I think it's important to separate those things, especially when you care so deeply about what you're doing. It's really hard to separate who you are from what you do. And a coach's opinion of you doesn't define you. It shouldn't. And if it does, that's a really big problem that maybe you need to work through with a trusted adult, a trusted friend, a professional. Because if it starts bleeding over into other areas of your life, it's a problem, but it's a common problem.
That's good. All right, next slide. One of my favorite questions that came through. I was wondering what is the best way, or how do I stop depending on my parents so I can make my own decisions without damaging our relationships? Kind of think back to your college days and that grouping of, okay, my parents, how much influence they have on that kind of thing.
I don't personally think that all of a sudden it's one day to decide, I'm going to make decisions for myself. It's something that you have been gradually doing. You can be dependent on your parents. For example, I've told our children, we're a safety net. You make the decision. If something goes wrong, we're here to help. We're not going to make the decisions all the time. But when they're little, absolutely. As they're growing up to adults, they should be taking those steps themselves. If that hasn't been the case, then you need to sit down and again have that honest conversation with your parents so that you don't damage that relationship. And when you approach the conversation, you want it to be in a loving, obviously, manner, and don't say, I'm gonna do this. You might wanna say, I've thought about, what do you think?
That's good. That's good. This one is kind of similar to one that we had, so if you have another comment, that's fine. How do you deal with losing a connection to a close family member like mom or dad due to other family issues? How do you try to reconnect without hurting yourself more?
So we had a situation where we had family not agree with us being together, and they didn't come to our wedding, and it was extremely hurtful. I mean, that's one of the most important days of your life, and you want to look out there and see everybody that you cared about and everybody that's been there up to this point. But I think if you live in that and you dwell in that, it can kind of lead you to a pretty dark place. So I think more focusing on the people that you do have in your life and continuing to pray for that relationship. If God wants to restore it, He will. And if it's not meant to be in your life, He's going to show you that and reveal that to you. So I think maybe not dwelling on that lost connection, but kind of living in the spaces of maybe those who aren't related to you that have become close like family, and connecting with other people. I don't know if you have more to add.
It's good.
So I'm going to add to that. So I hate to reveal lots of things in front of all these students. I had an estranged relationship with my dad for a long time, and I just kept hanging in there. I actually never knew what the issue was. That was bizarre. So challenge number one is to try to figure out what the issue is when that happens. And it's just to don't give up, but always just try little pieces at a time. Don't waste your life. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to do everything I can to fix it. Don't do that. Don't go overboard. Just little pieces at a time. And don't try to do anything that causes bigger grief and bigger commotion that separates or widens the barrier.
That's good. Yeah. My wife always tells me, just clean up your side of the street. Just make sure your side of the street is clean, and then try to have the relationship there. All right, next one. This is the question. How long is too long before you can just ghost someone?
All right, now we're jumping on this one. I think it Patty's answer. This was good. It's 11. You never ghost someone. Like, that's her. What do you mean? You never ghost someone. It's never. First of all, she's kind of right? You don't just ghost people. And the reason we do that is because we're afraid of confrontation and we're afraid to communicate with people. So I think she's really onto something. You should be communicating with people first. And then when you feel like things aren't working out, they're not responding or whatever it is, that's when you just sort of gently let them know. Seems like you don't really have any interest, so I'll stop trying to make things happen.
People come into your life for a reason, whether it's a long time or a short time. And when it's time for you to move on, you can move on. You can cherish the memories that you had with that person, but you don't need to hold resentment. It's just time to move on.
Anything to add?
Ghosting is such a wild term. I don't even know if I'm like qualified to answer this. I don't even know what it means.
All right, we'll move to the next one. I thought that was going to be the... Anyway, how does someone start uncomfortable discussions about cleanliness with roommates? I won't say who submitted that question.
So I would say I'm not a very clean person, but I struggle. I'm probably not better since having 3 kids, so I'm better there. But I'm still the very most clean. From my experience, if you try to sugarcoat it, or like my wife brought up, like, hey, should we set up like a cleaning schedule? I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to think you're okay. You don't really care if I'm clean. You just wanted to bring it up and try to make things in order. But, so I would say the best way to do it is rip off the Band-Aid and just be honest. Be honest without being disrespectful, because obviously it's an issue that's bothering you. So just trying to put icing on top top it or throw over the issue, just try to find another way to not hurt the other person's feelings, to me is not the right way to handle it. Being uncomfortable is a part of life. So, and that's like the easiest way, like to accept being uncomfortable. Hey, your room kind of stinks. Spray a little bit, pick up your underpants, whatever it is. You know, just, it's okay to be honest, just don't be disrespectful.
Yeah, so Patty is saying that this boils down to a seminar that Patty and I have been to multiple times. We talk about solving interpersonal problems. This really fits very nicely into an interpersonal problem. So they provide you these techniques for solving these problems. And the first part is to be direct about, when you're communicating a problem to somebody, be direct about it. Be very specific, be very clear about what you're talking about. Don't beat around the bush. Don't make it sound like it's something else. Be very clear about what you're talking about. This whole claimlands thing is interesting. The last piece is to be non-punishing, and I think that's the same as respectful, the way you use the term respectful. It's to be non-punishing about it. Tell somebody what the issue is, but don't beat them up about the issue. And then Patty said, and when you go through this process, you'll find out that the problem is ultimately a motivational problem or an ability problem. Either people aren't motivated to do what they need to do to be clean, or they don't have the ability. And so I know some of you know this. Like you've done cleaning and somebody else has done cleaning next to you, and your cleaning is different than their cleaning. And part of that is because your idea of what cleanliness is different than theirs. And some of it is they just can't clean the way you can. I know people who are clean freaks, and beside me, like I would be embarrassed. So I think it really boils down to making sure people understand the problem, and then once you've brought the problem out in the air, then discuss how to resolve that problem.
All right. Next one is, how do I help push a friend into mental health and depression help and get them in the right direction? Like somebody's struggling with mental, well, you think it's mental health. How do you kind of encourage them?
Okay, first thing that matters is a life at stake, either yours or others. Pick up the phone, dial 988. You don't want that responsibility, so call for professional help. The other thing is you can sit down and try and have a conversation with the individual. Try to figure out what's really going on. Is it money? Is it family? Has something, are you ill? What's really going on? And then help them find the guidance, the solution, whatever it may be. Are you afraid your friend's an alcoholic? Are they doing drugs? Whatever it might be. And then, most important, don't ghost them. Stay with them. Be there to help, but don't take on that burden yourself.
I think that's good. I think just also protecting yourself as their friend is a big deal too. Like, you're not a therapist, most of us in this room are, so don't take the weight of that role on, especially if there's people more qualified out there that can get them the help they need, and just have that conversation and say, hey, I'm here for you, but I feel like I'm not qualified to help you in the way that I know that you need help, basically, and be direct with the person.
That's good. All right, the last one in this section. What helps or has helped you decide what's mattered to you going into new friendships?
I think, for me, watching the way people deal with conflict in their life is a big indicator of if I'm going to want them to be in my life for a while. When hard times hit, how do they respond? I wish if I could go back, I know there's a question in here, like if you could go back and tell yourself something, what would you tell that? Because it tends to drain you as a person. I think you need to evaluate after you hang out with somebody, does this person give you life or does it drain you? So, yeah, that's my advice.
So I think up front, it's probably how they make you feel, how you feel around people. But then later on, it's going to be more about what you really learn about the person. Are they truthful? Are they ethical? How do they treat other people? Those kinds of things. So up front, it's sort of It's an attraction.
Try it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's skip the next one and go to the romantic relationship slide. Yeah. When seeking God in yourself, should you avoid a physical relationship entirely, even if feelings are mutual? Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should avoid. I'm not. You should avoid the physical relationship, even if feelings are mutual. I've been there, and I understand. I mean, I think my wife is the most gorgeous person on the planet. But when it comes down to it, and do I love her for who she is, or do I love her for what she looks like? That physical, like that's when you first meet her, when you first meet the person, I should say. Obviously, that physical attraction is what brought you to her. But if you're seeking God in yourself, God's trying to be the center. It's more than that. So I would say to avoid it as much as you can. I know I say it's 2026, but we should still try to be as conservative as possible in that area, just so that the end goal is to have a long-lasting relationship. And there's so many, I feel like from stories I've heard, there's so many relationships that end because people are still looking for that physical nature when it should be more of that emotional attachment to your person.
Very good. Very good. All right. How do you maintain individual identity in a relationship? How do you remain yourself even though you are together?
I think it's allowing yourself to do the things that you love, whether it's Dennis going to play golf, or personally I'd like to sit, crochet, talk to my sisters, whatever it may be. You have to do the things in your heart that you love. That doesn't mean you can't do them together sometimes, but you need to do what nourishes your soul.
Yeah, to add to that, I think everybody needs to have free space in their free time. And so to try to control your partner, for example, that everything they do that you have to be a part of or that you have to approve of it is just foolish. Generally, you fell in love with that person for a reason, and that's because of who they were. And so I can't understand why anybody would want to change the person that they are.
That's good. All right. Next one. Let's go back 2 slides. Sorry, I think I skipped one that I didn't want to. There we go. What does effort look like in a healthy romantic relationship on an average boring day?
So right now, with 3 kids, life is not exhilarating, I would say. It's like every day is mostly wake up, get them ready, get food, feed them, go to work, come back, play, and go back to sleep. That's most of the day. So to keep, I would say effort from me is like doing those little things that they would appreciate. So right now, what I would like to do is before I go to work, for y'all don't know, we formula feed our baby. So have a bottle set up and ready for her. So when I leave, when she wakes up, baby's crying, she doesn't have to do this and that. Just having the bottle ready is easy for her. So doing little things like that, just to make her know, hey, he's looking out for me. He understands I'm still here. He loves me. There's little things like that that go a long way.
That was awesome. I'm going to take that a step further. I think it's the little things that you do that are unexpected. So, more information about me that people don't need to know. I'm not big into like birthdays and anniversaries and all of those things. They're just another day in the year. And I always say to Patty every time, like, why do I buy a card today besides, the card makers make money? Well, I love you every day. It's not, I just love you just today, it's your birthday. And so when you do things on a regular day where nobody expects it, that's when it really matters a lot. And so I'll just be driving home, and it's like, I think I need to pick up some flowers for Patty. It's not a special day, it's nothing big. I'm just gonna, because she's in my mind while I'm driving home, and I'm gonna do it. So days are never, they're never really boring. They're only boring if you make them boring.
Very good, very good. All right, here's an interesting one. How do I handle feelings of real attraction towards another woman when my goal is marriage with my current girlfriend?
Okay, so no one wants to touch that one. So we're gonna hit the pass button on this. No, I'll tackle it. I'll try to. So everybody here would be lying if they said, "Oh, I just love my wife and I've never felt like somebody else is a good friend." Right? So, and maybe I'm starting to feel a little bit different. Right? I think that's normal. I don't think that's abnormal at all. I think most people who say it is abnormal are lying. That's what I did. So what you have to do is you have to control those emotions.
Good.
Okay? You have to control those emotions. If you're seeing a little too much of that person, see a little less of them. Less time with them will wane the feelings.
Oh, I didn't know if you had some data.
I was just saying, same stuff.
All right. Let's go to the last slide. 2 more questions, we're out. All right. How do you deal with people who don't approve when you're in an interracial relationship?
Pass.
If I'm what, I honestly could care less. But, because, I love who I love, and if you don't approve, you don't approve, you get to suck watching me love who I love. But, I would say there's a point in my life where I didn't have family members who didn't approve. And I was honest with them. I told them I love her, and I don't see the color. I see a person who loves me, who wants the best for me, wants to be there for me, and I want to be there for her. So, for those of y'all who are struggling with that fight, especially because I know as a black man in this world, you can see it on social media, you can see it on just everyday life where you're told that you have to stay in your culture, stay in your culture. Your culture should never leave, depending on what race you're in. If your culture is that important to you, it should always be with you, and the person who is with you should accept it. So.
Yeah, to add to that, some of the hard conversations that I had with his family was, I'm not here to take him away from his culture and where he came from. I'm here to learn about him and where he came from because I love him and you are the people who raised him. So I think in a family sense, this question, I'm not really sure if it's about people in general or family or what, but if it's family, I would say, and you're on the other receiving end of it, just be transparent and that you're here to learn and, accept, not take them away.
How about the other side, like college? Did you experience any problems just at the
Yes.
school that you were at?
Yeah, yes, we got eggs thrown at us one time when we were walking downtown with some very ugly things said to us, but at the end of the day, we're happy. I had to clean some egg off me, but I wasn't, it is crazy though that we're evolved as a society, but not really some people. So, I don't know.
That's good. All right, last one. What are the hard truths couples in long-distance relationships don't want to admit but need to hear?
Okay, anxious people, they want to leave. Long-distance relationships are difficult. They're hard to maintain. You have to work really hard at them.
Temptation is a real thing. You need to stray away from those temptations. Communicate with your loved one consistently as much as you can. But the devil is trying to get you.
Awesome. Hey, can we give a big hand to our couples? Appreciate that. Let me pray us out, and then you're free to go after I pray. Lord, thank you so much. Thank you so much that you've established relationships. You're the one who has sought a relationship with us, and that relationship is the example of how we should be with others. Lord, I thank you for these two couples here. I pray special blessing on both of them, Lord, and what you have had them go through and are continuing to mold them into who you want them to be. We thank you for their experience and for their ability to share today. We appreciate it. Thank you for our school and for who we are, and help us to be better. In your name, amen. You're free to go.
Rafael.